So coming to the author, Radhakrishnan Pillai is a management expert with an MA in Sanskrit and a recognized authority on Chanakya and the Arthashastra. So he was awarded Sarvepalli Patel International Award. He directs leadership programs and founded a spiritual tourism venture and the Chanakya Institute of Public Leadership. He is the best selling author of Corporate Chanakya and Chanakya's Seven Secrets of Leadership, bringing ancient wisdom to contemporary business and public life through his writings and teachings. So, in this chapter, you'll find 60, in this book, you'll find 62 chapters, out of which, if we exclude the end note and all that, it would be 60 chapters. So it starts with grandpa's advice. From there it continues to how he imbibed himself and how he come up as an individual or emerge as an individual. Everything he will go in sequence. So the first chapter, because this review I made in chapter wise, so that everybody will come to know what is there in the book. And I've already shared the book in the group. So at your convenience and at your comfort, you can finish reading this book so that it will be very comfortable and it is in simple language. Anybody, you can read the book. It's very comfortable to read and the language is so simple. So the first chapter is Grandpa's advice. It's like the author fondly recalls the unique bond shared with his grandfather, a master storyteller and an avid reader who introduced him to the world of books and ancient Indian wisdom. Despite living in a metropolitan city, vacations at his grandparents' village home were treasured moments when stories from epics like the Ramayana and Mahabharata, as well as classical texts such as the Upanishads and Panchatantra, were shared. His grandfather's love for Kautilya's Arthashastra particularly inspired him, planting the seed for a lifelong engagement with the ancient treatise. The grandfather emphasized the dual importance of reading books and listening to stories, highlighting education as a privilege and storytelling as a vital tradition for imparting wisdom. And then second chapter, it's about the history of India. The grandfather storytelling extended to Indian history, which the author describes as a rich amalgamation of monuments, personalities, literature, and spirituality. He explains spirituality as humanity's quest for God and inner potential, emphasizing true maturity, transcends age, and is born of life understanding. The grandfather advocates studying history not for rote memorization, but to learn from the past, avoid repeating mistakes, and accelerate personal and societal success by leveraging ancestral knowledge. So coming to the third chapter, it is the Kingmaker. So the author learns about Chanakya, also known as Vishnugupta and Kautilya, a kingmaker who was a teacher, strategist, and patriot. So all the influence of this kingmaker is there on him because he's the one who worked mostly on economics. And because of the influence of his grandfather, he's worked mostly on Sanskrit epics, mythological books, and all that. So he got inspired by our Indian tradition and customs. In fact, our various personalities who inspired him. At the same time, in a fourth one, it's Arthasastra, because you find another book of him which is Corporate Chanakya, where you find management skills and management strategies. At the same time, when you see the fourth chapter, in fact, in third chapter, you can see his mentorship of Chandragupta Maurya, like how that person, uh, Chanakya role transcended kingship, and how he had an influence on Chandragupta Maurya, who is the founder of the Mauryan dynasty. And then the author is introduced to the concept of dharma or righteousness as a guiding principle in Chanakya's life and teachings, with the Arthasastra being key to understanding its application. And then fourth chapter is exclusively on Arthashastra, which is nothing but economics, and how the Indian Arthashastra is being started from long back. It's not like economics textbooks nowadays, but it was started from the long back when Chanakya Chandragupta was there. So it was like some guru is always required in order to help the people, and his grandfather advised that a guru is essential to decode such ancient wisdom, especially from the scriptures of Sanskrit. And then the author learns that Chanakya invented chess as a strategic thinking game, underscoring the importance of Anvikshita. Anvikshika means the science of strategic thinking. within the Arthashastra. The text is positioned as universally applicable, not just for kings, but for all aspiring leaders. And then chess, if you see this, he has given an acronym. The chess is used as an acronym, and it is for chariots, horses, elephants, soldiers, and it's something like how he has linked all these things together, and linking the game's elements to military tactics and broader concept of strategic planning. And the author is encouraged to think critically, learn from every experience, and develop leadership qualities by thinking both creatively and logically. And sixth chapter is about bringing out the leader in me. Now he started thinking about leadership is described as multidimensional, beyond position and authority, encompassing moral integrity, which is dharma, and then decision making under dilemmas, which is dharma sankat, and inspiring others. The Bhagavad Gita is recommended as foundational study interpreting the dialogue between Krishna and Arjun as addressing leadership challenges, ethical dilemmas, and strategic action. The Arthashastra complements this by teaching leaders now to govern effectively, make the two texts essential guides for developing the Chanakya in you. Leadership is universal, extending beyond kingship to all people and professions. And then next one is a love for books. So following his grandfather's death, the author cherishes the love for books cultivated in childhood, uh, frequenting libraries and engaging in intellectual discussions. He values books as friends and sources of wisdom, appreciating the breadth of literature he explores from ancient Indian scriptures to modern management. Attending book launches and literary events broadens his perspective on reading and writing, inspiring him toward authorship. The passion for books becomes a lifelong companion and foundation for his future career as a writer and a scholar. And then notes on Chanakya, which is a eighth chapter, where he started taking notes on various components related to Chanakya. And the author learns a systematic approach to studying initial general reading to assess interest, and then detailed note taking and questioning during subsequent readings, and revision to achieve expertise. Over years, he amasses numerous texts on Chanakya, ranging from simple advice, Chanakya Niti, to scholarly books or works, Mudra Rakshasa, and Arthashastra. Despite reading repeated readings, full understanding remains elusive until he learns of the four krupas, which are the graces essential for comprehending scripture: self-effort, divine grace, teacher's grace, and scripture's grace. He realizes the Guru Sishya tradition is vital for true insight into Chanakya's wisdom. And then Guru the Greatest is the ninth chapter, where the Guru is portrayed as more than a teacher, a spiritual guide who nurtures wisdom through example, like conduct, thought, and behavior, and devotion. The Gurukul system fosters learning through close personal interaction and lifelong bonding. Not just classroom instruction, the ideal student is attuned in mind and spirit to the Guru, emphasizing faith and service. The author reflects on his own need for such a guru and gurukul, as well as the ongoing importance of this tradition in imparting ancient wisdom and spiritual growth. Now, 10th chapter is from grandpa to papa. The author's family environment is depicted as intellectually vibrant and spiritually inclusive, celebrating diverse religious philosophies and encouraging open discussions. His father continues the legacy of respect for freedom of thought and expression, captured in a framed family saying about tolerating disagreement. The family's progressive mindset supports the author's desire to study the Arthashastra through the Guru Sishya tradition. The tradition Vidya Arambham, educational initiation, is explained, emphasizing equal access to knowledge regardless of background. The father prepares the author to enter a Gurukul for immersive study. Next, one teacher, one student. So he chooses one teacher, one student concept, which is a Gurukul format to combine academic research, spirituality, and community. His father arranges contact with the Sanskrit scholar about to retire, who becomes the author's Arthashastra guru. This marks the beginning of a transformative 6-month immersive study away from city life despite skepticism from friends and initial parental concern. In fact, that's the reason people say that Panchatantra has also given so many management lessons as part of the storytelling process. And then the 6-month farewell, the author's first contact with the Sanskrit scholar that gives a lot of involvement of him. And the guru involves a cautious phone interview, emphasizing dedication and purpose. So here you will see the motivation which has happened to him, and how this 6 month stay in a village brought a lot of change in the life of him. At the same time, it was almost like not actual classes, it is something beyond the classroom learning. And then journey within. Here, departing from the Gurukul, the author reflects on the inward journey ahead, aiming for what he not only learn from Arthashastra, but which embody his wisdom. So, despite friends' doubts and parental concern, the experiences spiritual reassurance from family and spiritual teachers. So, the 2-day train journey is filled with anticipation and study, preparing for his first meeting with the Guru. Arrival in the village is marked by a sense of alienation and anticipation, underscoring the author's transition from familiar urban life to secluded spiritual schooling. And my Ardhasastra Guru, in this chapter, he has clearly given about how he met his Guru and Guru Ma, a scholarly couple who are committed to reviving ancient Indian knowledge through Indological research. So he's mostly into the ashram and how he spent his time in the ashram by reading the manuscripts and all that. It is clearly mentioned here. And then the rules. So generally we need to follow certain rules when we are doing some kind of puja or meditation or something. So the author settles into the ashram routine, meeting, visiting scholars, and participating in community life. He is assigned a primary Arthashastra text with recommended supplemental readings and a daily study target. The ashram's research environment and spiritual atmosphere are highlighted as ideal for deep learning. The importance of balance between traditional rituals and modern academic research is noted. The Guru's instruction to begin studies with prayer and devotion underscores the integration of spirituality and scholarship. So, the next one is the initiation. The formal initiation ceremony involves traditional Vedic rituals invoking deities such as Ganesha and Surya, symbolizing the start of the author's dedicated study. He receives a Rudraksha Mala from daily chanting of a Gayatri mantra, linking spiritual practice with intellectual pursuit. So, in such a way, he has initiated various traditional practices of meditation in order to make his mind soothe, and the author is encouraged to contribute to India's intellectual renaissance by rediscovering and applying traditional knowledge. A walk in the ashram. So the author is introduced to the ashram, expansive grounds, temple, and administrative offices, and he keeps on walking around the corners where scholars, monks, and villages coexist, emphasizing the blending of spiritual discipline and academic research. So this setting inspires the author to appreciate the interconnectedness of tradition, scholarship, and commerce. So the next chapter is an accountant with a difference. So from beginning, I've been using the word Arthashastra, which is nothing but economics, which is having like financial ability of a person and how the person can permeate all levels of the institution, including administrative staff. So here the accountant recounts attending evening lectures by the Guru on Chanakya's life and Arthashastra, which inspired a wider community of laypersons. So the accountant's insights reveal the multifaceted nature of Arthashastra literature and the importance of applying its principles to daily living. So this is very important, which the author learned the business tactics as well. And the noble businessman. So the trustee reflects on his family's spiritual heritage and how the Arthashastra has guided his business practices, including wealth creation, management, and social responsibility. So he emphasizes ethical leadership rooted in dharma, recruitment of capable managers, and strategic collaboration. The author is motivated by the trusty example of integrating business success with moral values. So in such a way, the next chapter, it's about the study pattern. So how the people, study, especially how this person study. The author adapts to the ashram discipline daily schedule, balancing self-study in the Indology library with evening classes from his guru. As from the beginning, he has been talking about various, ways of his study, and how he studied many books and collection of Arthashastra related books. And the study pattern involves independent reading, comparative analysis, and guided discussion, fostering a critical thinking. This is very important. The author's initial doubts about complex Sanskrit terms lead to insightful conversations with the Guru, emphasizing the importance of contextual understanding and open mindedness in scholarship. So the next one is different views and your view. So when you're talking about, the Guru explains everyone has different perspectives. So in same way, multiple philosophical perspectives within Indian tradition, specifically referencing to Arthashastra's opening salutations to previous Guru Sukra and Brahaspati. So he has a kind of discussions, and people keep on talking about different perspectives, and he started thinking about various practical applications of such philosophical thinking in real life scenarios. That's very important. And then next chapter is thinking a gift of human being. So the science of anvikshita, strategic philosophical thinking, is emphasized as a foundation of all knowledge and action essential for leadership. So when you're talking about the next chapter, which is think but also act. So here you can see the person who realizes that thinking alone is insufficient. Action based on thoughtful deliberation is crucial. So this is most important point, which is mentioned in chapter number 23. And then chapter number 24 reflects on the conference. At a national Arthashastra seminar, the author is immersed in a vibrant scholarly community, engaging with experts, policymakers, and media. So the event showcases the breadth of Arthashastra's application from philosophy to military strategy, reflecting India's rich intellectual heritage. So in this, you can see the experience humbles and motivates him, revealing the global relevance of Chanakya's teachings and the collaborative nature of contemporary illogical scholarship. So the final days, here you will conclude the Gurukul study. Here you come to an end of a Gurukul study, like how we have our college, school, and all that. In the same way, in Gurukul, they have come to a closure of the learning process. And then the homecoming. Returning to metropolitan life, the author reflects on his transformative journey from childhood fascination to Gurukul immersion and corporate engagement. So, family reunions reconnect him with friends and relatives while he proudly shares his academic and business achievements, including an official research certificate, which he has done when he was in his Gurukul. And then astrology shows the way. So, seeking guidance on career direction, the author turns to astrology, encouraged by his father, who explains its role as a divine science offering personalized insight into individual strengths and life paths. So, here you find the author meets a university professor specialized in Vedic astrology who interprets his horoscope, highlighting willpower and auspicious planetary positions that promise success. So, the author is advised to gain work experience before entrepreneurship, integrating astrology's guidance with practical preparation. Next one is Sanskrit professor. So next you could see him with the practical experience as a Sanskrit professor. And coming to 29th chapter, it's the interview. Seeking work experience, the author applies for and secures a position as a business development executive in a reputed company. He impresses interviewers with his knowledge, confidence, and attitude toward developing a business and or immediate salary expectations. So this first job provides a critical learning platform, bridging academic theory and practical application. The author embraces the role as an opportunity to gain ground level experience, preparing for the future and entrepreneur endeavors. Next one is sharing his vision. So when you're sharing the vision, he is invited to meet the company chairman and offered a unique opportunity to work directly under him without salary, emphasizing learning over remuneration. So the chairman's offer reflects trust in the author's potential and commitment to mentorship. So in such a way also you'll be getting opportunities. The author accepts gaining exposure to high-level business strategy and decision making. The chairman personally welcomes new recruits, sharing the company's vision and values, reinforcing the importance of service and ethical leadership in business. So, next chapter is the chairman's training. Under the chairman's mentorship, the author adopts a learning mindset focused on observation, patience, and gradual questioning. This is also very important because after 6 months, the author is introduced to the company's minerals and metals division, transitioning to a more operational role under the CEO. And then my new boss, reporting to the CEO of a major division, the author begins hands-on operational experience despite lacking technical qualifications. So it's very important. Like, you keep on listening, a senior patient is better than a junior doctor. It's almost like that. So even he did not have a technical expertise, he learned under the CEO's guidance, and practically he learned many things out of it. And the next chapter is connect two bits of good news. The author excels in work and academics, gaining assistance and leadership roles. So this is also very important. Unexpectedly, he is promoted rapidly within the company, but this prompts him to offer his resignation, seeking to pursue entrepreneurship and personal goals. So he did not stop at any point. Whatever he has his own vision, he continued to that. And then the connect. Experiencing renewed spiritual connection and clarity, the author informs the chairman of this intent to take a break and explore personal direction. The chairman supports us, emphasizing freedom and self-discovery. And the author prepares a seminar paper on Arthashastra management fundamentals, reconnects with academic circles, and experiences a deep sense of purpose. Next one, the way ahead. It's nothing but how far he can go, and marriage to doctor, a fellow academic and life partner, brings new dimensions of support and shared dreams. So here the couple balances personal aspirations with professional growth and cultural traditions. A visit to the Kumbh Mela sparks inspiration for the author's next business venture, spiritual and cultural tourism, targeting domestic and international travelers seeking authentic Indian experiences beyond typical sightseeing. This new vision sets the stage for entrepreneurial expansion aligned with India's spiritual heritage. And then the business plan. The author researches the tourism industry, identifying a gap in quality tour operations and guides. He develops a scalable business model requiring minimal initial investment, leveraging advance payments for customers for cash flow. So, in such a way, started working on that particular work in collaboration with a doctor's family aid in launching the business, which resonates with evolving Indian consumer aspirations and global travel trends. So the next chapter is the first step. So when it is the first step, the author organizes his first spiritual temple tour locally, involving friends and relatives, including prospective in-laws. So in such a way, he started going ahead with the first step, and then he learned many lessons, including logistics, contingency planning, customer service, and so on and so forth. So the experience demonstrates the power of starting small, learning fast, and building an incremental success. Next, vendors to partners. So he made a couple of vendors into the partners by practical exposure to all of them, and recognizing the interdependence of tourism stakeholders. So he felt like it would be better viewing the suppliers as vendors to partners, fostering collaboration and shared ownership of quality and service. In this way, he started working on that trip. And the big trip, the author secures a large international tour contract with cultural and for a Ramayana circuit, managing 650 tourists over 20 days. Despite initial apprehensions and logistical challenges, the trip succeeds through meticulous planning and devotion. So, in such a way, he made one big trip, and it was quite successful. And the success expands reputation and business scope, affirming the integration of Indian culture with global tourism. And then spiritual co-traveler. So the author continues expanding his spiritual and cultural tours, and recognizing the value of partnerships and sharing responsibilities. Doctor's academic progress and family milestones accompany his business growth. He applies Chanakya's principles of partnership and dual policy to business strategy. So the couple balances personal and professional life, embodying spiritual companionship. The author adopts to a changing market trend demands, nurtures relationships, and embraces his role as a cultural ambassador and entrepreneurial leader. So the next one is the next stage of growth, where he went on his own personal trip. And sponsored by a business partner, symbolizes personal and professional harmony. So in such a way, you can use your professional life in order to have proper growth at the same time you can balance your personal and professional life. And then guidance from a childhood friend. The author consults a trusted childhood friend and financial expert to navigate investor relations and shareholding complexities. So, using analogies of parenting and schooling, the friend explains the necessity of entrusting business growth to capable partners who also act as mentors. And this counsel helps the author overcome fears about relinquishing control and embrace strategic alliances. And then coming to the next important chapter, which is chapter number 43, Doctor's Request. So, Doctor's academic success and teaching career complement the author's entrepreneurial journey. She encourages him to engage with university students, sharing his business experiences and research on Chanakya to inspire youth. So, in such a way, he started promoting, and encouraging the youngsters on various management disciplines. And the lecture of Indian businessman. So the author delivers a well-received lecture on applying Chanakya's wisdom in modern business to a large university audience. So from there, he started working on giving so many talks, highlighting the universality of ancient Indian philosophy and the relevance to contemporary challenges. So the joy of parenting, and then he embraces his fatherhood with joy and responsibility, and he's been managing his business, research, and family life, and so on and so forth. And then money will liberate you. So reflecting on wealth, when we met personally also, he was talking about, many people says that money has nothing to do. He says the money has many things to do. And the author discusses the dual material and spiritual significance, drawing on Arthashastra verses and conversations with his chairman. So, money is framed as a divine tool, neither inherently good nor evil, with ethical use depends on the person. The symbolic relationship of Goddess Lakshmi and Lord Vishnu illustrates the primacy of knowledge guiding wealth. The author rejects common misconceptions about money, advocating for balanced understanding and responsible philanthropy. And then the real challenge comes like when he identifies the recruitment and retention of capable, motivated people as the core business challenge, echoing Chanakya's criteria for ministers. So, desire to learn, uh, listening skills, reflection, independent judgment, and truthfulness. These all are the embodiments of a true employee or a true person whom we can trust when we are doing business. So, this is very, very important. And then when we go for the next important one, doctor makes a doctor. So the author's PhD journey culminates with an invitation to present at the World Congress of Philosophy in Greece, a prestigious international event. The experience expands his academic horizons and global network. Encouraged by his guide, he accelerated dissertation completion, balanced research with business and family roles. So when he finished his work, so doctor makes a doctor. Here he intends to talk about his complete journey of his PhD. And then from scholar to author. So post PhD, he started working on his knowledge and he wants to disseminate his knowledge through publications. So he was encouraged to work on all the publications. And writing a bestseller is the next chapter where he emerges from his PhD thesis refined with professional editorial support, and publishing industry insights reveal the importance of marketing, presentation, and accessibility for success. So when you're talking about the book's launch event, attracts significant attention because till now he has given so many talks in various universities and various places. So you might have seen him as a person who is mostly connected with the youngsters and the people who are associated with the scholarly domain. And then the wonderful feeling of freedom. So when you're talking about the freedom, achieving fame and financial success, the author reflects on the transformative nature of knowledge and wealth. He becomes a sought after advisor and a speaker, leveraging this scholarly and entrepreneurial experience. So this is also very, very important to be noted. His work inspires a new generation of innovators and scholars, embodying the synergy of material success and spiritual purpose. The author attains a state of desirelessness and fulfillment, continuing to guide others. This is very important point. The leader in me. So that is the Chanakya in you, and the leader in you has come out of the picture. And the transitioning to leadership of a multinational conglomerate, the author is appointed chairman following his mentor's declining health and eventual passing. So then he got the opportunity to lead a team, and his experiences, grief, and responsibility supported him with a new role with humility and determination. So this is very, very important to be noted. He reflects on legacy, leadership, and the spiritual dimensions of authority, preparing to nurture the next generation of leaders. So his journey culminates in self realization and transcendence. So, the family man. So, always, whatever we do, the family man should be a family man where you need to support your personal and domestic lives. So, he is very good at parenting and lifelong relationship, evolving from authority to friendship, fostering independence and responsibility in his children. So, next chapter is like choosing your own path. So the author confronts generational differences on his son chooses a government career in Indian foreign services inspired by Chanakya's teachings on diplomacy and statecraft. So first thing, he influenced his own family members. Despite initial surprise, the author respects his son's independent choice, recognizing the value of diverse paths to service and leadership. So the daughter reveals her desire to pursue music through traditional Gurukul training, underscoring the family's embrace of varied occasions. So the author supports autonomy, encouraging exploration and expert consultation. So the next chapter is Be Certain. So the author acknowledged the maturity and clarity of his children's career choices, reflecting on the need of parents to be concerned rather than worried. So inspired by Indian philosophy, he encourages respect for individual paths while providing guidance through consultation with experts. And then, did I do it? The author is named the richest man in India by prominent publications, a milestone that evokes mixed feelings of fulfillment and detachment. So the first thing is, once you achieve something, it reflects first thing as a money's role as a tool of a spiritual and societal advancement for him, and then balancing personal success with social responsibility, and embraces humility and gratitude, recognizing that wealth is a means, not an end. And I find myself, so where he find himself is the next chapter, where retiring from active business leadership, the author experiences a profound spiritual awakening and detachment from ego. He passes in leadership to a new generation, including the appointment of a female family member as chairperson, signaling progress in gender roles. The author attains a state of enlightenment or moksha, transcending dualities and embracing oneness. The spiritual realization marks the culmination of his personal and professional journey, highlighting the integration of worldly success with inner freedom. So, my later life. So, give me 1 second, please. Thank you so much. My later life. So here the author transitions to a contemplative, socially engaged life, expanding philanthropic activities and continuing scholarly pursuits. He relocates to a rural farmhouse to embrace simplicity and spiritual connection. Despite retreating from business operations, he remains influential as a mentor and advisor. Family grows and flourishes, with children and grandchildren pursuing varied careers and lives. The author balances privacy with public engagement, writing and guiding seekers globally, embodying the ideals of spiritual success and service. And the last lecture, invited to deliver the keynote at the World Congress of Philosophy hosted in India, the author presents a stirring overview of India's spiritual and material heritage. And then the event symbolizes the author's final public address, encapsulating his life's work and vision of the future. It's a call to action and understanding for all humanity. So, advice to my grandchildren: in these twilight years, the author imparts enduring wisdom to his grandchildren, urging study of Sanskrit and the Arthashastra, respect for ancient scriptures, and embracing India's dual dedication, emphasizing the continuity of cultural and spiritual traditions. And the author stresses the importance of Dharma and responsibility of the younger generation to uphold and advance India's legacy. And the final message is to discover the Chanakya in you. So the Chanakya is nothing but the intellect. Every individual has his or her own intellect. So you need to work on your own intellect and take hold of yourself, and then work on your own personal development and personal growth, so that you'll have a better future. The author reflects on his motivations for writing, blending personal narrative management lessons, and fiction to engage a broad audience. The book aims to inspire young India, addressing their aspirations, challenges, and leadership potential through Chanakya's timeless wisdom. The author hopes readers find deep connection and practical guidance in the stories, fostering personal growth and national progress. So, when you're talking about the key themes, you'll find how the grandparents' influence is there on the people, and this early exposure ignited a lifelong quest for knowledge and leadership inspired by Chanakya's wisdom. And then how he is tempted and what is his education, where he studied in Gurukul style, all these things helps him. And then okay. So when we're talking about Anvikshita, the science of thinking, which is the central to Chanakya's teachings in Anvikshita, the science or philosophy of strategic, lateral, and ethical thinking, which is the foundation of effective leadership and decision making. So, and another important key factor here is like leadership and dharma. And next one is Guru Sishya and Gurukul tradition. That's very important, which is our ancient tradition, which we've been following from so long from Vedic history. But because of this advent of modern education system, it was rooted out. And then chess and strategy. So generally, he was talking about Arthashastra, where the logical thinking is very important. So he has clearly quoted about this concept as well. And then integration of ancient wisdom with modern business. So this is also important concept where we need to talk about. So when we are talking about the integration of modern concept, give me a second, please. Yeah. Where we are talking about integration of ancient wisdom with modern business, the Ardhasastra's principles are applied to modern leadership and business, emphasizing strategic thinking, ethical governance, and wealth management. So the author's own business growth and leadership style reflect these ancient teachings. And when it goes to personal growth and spirituality, moksha is very important, which is self realization. So he attains self realization, a state of inner freedom and detachment, while continuing to serve society through mentorship, philanthropy, and writing. So he has been motivating so many people for so many decades. And then the next important significant features which you can come across here is like childhood, how he was inspired by his grandparents' stories. And nowadays we are in nuclear families. So we don't have this kind of culture except in many, some of the families where the grandchildren has been getting the knowledge acquisition from the oral stories of the grandparents. In fact, nowadays, even if we go to the granny's house, maybe they stay for a week or so, so they don't have much rapport with them. But in his case, he got the outcome as love for books and awareness of Indian wisdom from his grandparents. And then the studies at the Shastra under Guru in Gurukul, which helps him to understand deeply about Chanakya's teaching. And then coming to the graduation, he joins corporate job, then works directly with chairman. So he came to know the business acumen. At the same time, applies Arthashastra in practice. And then marriage and parenthood, and he marries a doctor, raises children with spiritual values, and he balances business, family, as well as academic pursuits. And coming to the mid career, he starts his own travel business inspired by Indian culture and uses Chanakya's strategy to grow and innovate. And coming to his doctoral degree or PhD on Arthashastra, with bestsellers, becomes a scholar and author and respected leader. So later years, he becomes richest man in India, retires after attains self-realization, transitions to mentorship, philanthropy, and spiritual guide. He has been giving so many talks in various universities and various places where he motivates the people on different management principles and our Indian mythology and Indian culture, tradition, and all that. In, not only in India, maybe in abroad. So the final phase passes leadership to next generation, delivers final keynote, and leaves enduring legacy of leadership and wisdom. So when it comes to all these aspects in this book, we learn many things. Like he has taken a grip of all our mythological books, which are very very important to carry it forward to the next generations. It may be Ramayana, Mahabharata, or Bhagavad Gita, or maybe Bhagavatam, whatever is that, the first thing is each and every book teaches you ethics, morals, how to be with others, your behavioral aspects. All these things matter. It's not only it's not a book, it's a kind of book which tells you how to behave in a society, and it tells us our origins, where we are from, where we hail from, and what are our roots. So we should know our roots. At the same time, we should know how to behave with others. So these are the most important things. And even from this book, you find so many soft skills and life skills where you can apply in your future life. And being raised in a metropolitan city but deeply influenced by grandfather's village stories and wisdom, and then studied Arthashastra in traditional Gurukul setting under a Sanskrit scholar, and transitioned from corporate job to entrepreneurial ventures inspired by Chanakya, founded a spiritual tourism business, applied ancient wisdom to modern challenges, completed PhD in Arthashastra, became a best-selling author and popular speaker, engaged in philanthropy, research funding, and mentoring business leaders, achieved status as one of the India's richest businessmen, yet remained humble and spiritual, passed leadership to next generation, attained spiritual enlightenment, emphasizes universal and timeless relevance of Chanakya's principles in leadership and life. So these are the major takeaways. And ultimately, when we are talking about Chanakya and you, it is both a personal memoir and a practical guide that demonstrates how ancient Indian wisdom can be integrated into modern leadership and business success. So the author showcases the transformative power of knowledge, mentorship, and spirituality in shaping a fulfilling life, inspiring readers to discover the Chanakya within themselves. So this is what about the overall summary as well as the key insights of the book Chanakya in You. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, you made our day as a productive one.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Wonderful
Dr.
review, ma'am.
Thank you, Raj sir. Thank you, Dr. Paramita, for attending. I think in the first slot, I think you cannot make out after 40 minutes. So I'll be sharing you the video. It's recorded.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Santhosh.
Thank you so much for being here. Lovely to listen to
Always
you.
there. Congratulations. It was a very
Thank,
good presentation.
thank you so much. So let's wrap up the day today. Thank you so much. If Paramita, if you want to share anything, you can share with our Readers Club members, because you are also a part of Readers Club, and I've been witnessing you being a very good poet, writer, and achieving so many awards, rewards, and very happy to be associated with you from so long. So can you share your feelings or emotions related to reading and all that? Book reading especially.
Well, reading is a little cathartic for me. So it helps me release my emotions. And writing is something like I love expressing. I like observing people, and what I observe, I generally pen it down. So character building, everything helps me from real life experiences. So I would suggest like everybody to pen down, even if it's one line a day. Still, it helps a lot. So that's a which everybody should practice. And like since I'm into teaching, I generally suggest my students also to read and write, because that's the way you can develop. It's not like we can make it into a capsule and develop your reading writing skills. It happens with practice. That's how we have grown, and the same legacy I would expect them to carry on. It was a pleasure listening to you, Santosh, today.
Thank you so
Look
much.
forward to many more.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
so
in
much.
fact, I'm looking forward to your book review on one of the Saturdays whenever you feel comfortable, because we have initiated this club on 1st of January 2025, and we targeted to read at least 20 books, because we've been reading the book. Like, it's not like reviewing a book. We have been reading, so that, we thought of improving the reading skills as well as other English related skills associated with that. So still we finished. We are going in seventh book. I think we finished six and we are into seventh book. So what we thought is every week if we have one book review session, so that we can acquire some knowledge on that particular book as well. Because today I have not done a review. It's almost like explaining the entire plot of the entire book, because I want the readers to have an enhanced knowledge on that particular book, so that they will start reading at least parallelly. So in such a way,
Mm-hmm.
every week, every Saturday, we are planning to have one talk of 40 minutes or maybe 50 minutes on
Mm-hmm.
any book of their choice. See, language is not a constraint, it is their wish, but the review may be in English. The book choice is
Mm-hmm.
their choice. If it
Okay.
is
Okay.
any book, we can go ahead, but we feel some current books or something, so that current in the sense, like if, for example, Atomic Habits, it's a ever lasting book, or ever blooming book. So you can
Mm-hmm.
think of any book which you have read, and one day if you give your appointment for the book reading, so I can give you a slot. If you help us, we will share your knowledge as well.
Sure, sure. Pleasure.
Yeah.
We'll do it soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So thank you, Raj sir. Thank you, Rama ma'am. And thank you, Dr. Paramita.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you, Rama ma'am, for the
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you
certificates,
very
and
much,
thank
ma'am.
you, Santhosh Kumari ma'am, also. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye,
Bye
ma'am.
Bye,
Have a
bye.
ma'am.
nice Sunday. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Wishing the same.